Unpacking the Toolbox is a production of Shondaland Audio in partnership with iHeartRadio.
It's the Scandal Rewatch Podcast Show with Guillermo Diaz and Katie Blows.
I just took a shower. I've never done a podcast with wet hair.
Really? It looks really cute. I like your hair all curly like that.
Ew. It's so yuck.
It's wetty. It's wetty. I just shoved food down my throat because I was like, we got a tape.
And you need all the energy, except sometimes you're like, but then it's all going to go to my stomach and I'm not going to be into this at all.
know.
Wait, what did you have?
But it's worse if I don't eat because then I'll just be doing this and just be thinking about food. I warmed up a pita in the oven and had all this amazing hummus that I got at this spot called the Vegan Exchange. It's a vegan exchange festival that they have every Sunday here in North Hollywood. And I bought all this amazing homemade like hummuses.
I've never been there.
Oh,
The
God, we got to go, Katie.
What the fuck?
Yeah, let's go. Our friend Jess runs it. Shout out to Jess. And it's amazing. All this great like vegan food. And then they sell, hummuses and juices and fruit and plants and produce, a bunch of
And
stuff.
is everything like fake burgers and fake nuggets and shit?
Yeah. I had a Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
That was
and it was plant-based. Yeah, it
and
was
cashew
vegan.
cheese and whatever.
Yeah, and sushi. And there's an amazing sushi truck. And I got spicy tuna. And it's so good. It's made out of
tuna.
No, it's made out of chickpeas. That particular one was made out of chickpeas. Yeah. Anyway, it was so good. It was so good. So I'm nice and full now.
Some people make them real gassy, but
Yeah. Oh shit. That answers a lot. Now that you say that. God damn it. All right.
you know who's my favorite vegan on the planet?
Who?
Bellamy Young.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Our very own Melly. She was like the first real true vegan. Because I have some like vegetarians that also dabble in pescatarian that are just
Right.
eating fish. But she's really the first person as a true staunch vegan that I
Yes.
spent 8 years with, where it's like she won't even butter, eggs, like
No.
the real
Yeah.
deal.
Remember we went to Israel with her and I remember her full on sticking to her vegan diet. It's difficult when you travel.
For 20 plus years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And
For
that was way back. That was back in the day. Now it's easier. Now there's vegan
Yes.
spots all over the place. And restaurants know that there's people are doing the vegan thing. So there's always
Yes.
vegan options. But back
Yeah.
then it was hard. It was difficult.
Yeah, and she's been doing it since way before we knew her. But she's the
Damn.
biggest fucking animal lover ever. Like, because she's worked with ASPCA,
Yeah.
a ton of stuff. And she looks like
She looks
so
so
good that
good.
it makes me want to be a vegan. G and I, we're not vegan, we're not omnivores, we're not pescatarian, we're not vegetarian. We just like all fucking food. It just depends
Exactly.
on what day of the week.
Exactly. I just like to eat.
Today we have a fucking amazing guest. He is a Scandal staple, and he was not around in season 1.
The whole time. No, he came in season 3 or
No,
2?
2. 2. He's sexy. He's television famous. He's television royalty.
Oh, yeah. And it's appropriate that he came in season 2 because it's the number 2 and he was the king of doing the fart noises on set. He is the reason that we all still do like every day. I will
So it's
do
a good thing
that.
we also talked about chickpeas in this episode.
The gassiness.
Because we have the one and only Sir Gentleman, classiest dude in the world who does a rolling speed and action.
Every time. I still
no matter
do that.
how dramatic the scene.
Yeah.
Scott Foley.
We love Scott
You
Foley.
are a gem of gems. Thank you so much for being on the pod. We love you.
I love you both.
For everyone listening, Scott Foley is television royalty and fame. He has been on 8,000 successful, prolific fucking shows. So where did you pick up this habit? Did you get it from someone else? Does it come out of your magnificent brain? Talk to us.
I'm glad this is something I really wanted to dive into. I think, if I'm being honest, I think it started on The Unit when I was on this show called The Unit on CBS. a bunch of guys running around with guns. There were women in the show as well, but our storylines were almost never together. So the dudes would run around and do missions, and we'd be working in Santa Clarita at 3 a.m, drinking coffee and challenging people like, hey, I'll give you $100 if you run up that hill before they say action, and eat 50 eggs or do all the stupid shit. And it just came out. You'd be sitting in a scene, they'd be setting something up, and a camera operator would bend over, and you just and it was literally I'm embarrassed. It was set full of men.
Genius,
It's
man.
the fucking best. Because it's not only how it started. By the way, you're not the only. First of all, everyone was doing it on the Scandal set.
Because
Any
of
single
Scott,
time
though. Because
I
of
bent
Scott.
if I dropped anything or your sides were on the ground, or God forbid you had to bend over and do something in a scene, somebody was making a fucking fart sound. And because I honestly think too, similar to the unit, we weren't all dudes running around. But I think there is also something to be said when you're on a very dramatic show where the subject matter is dramatic.
You got to break that tension.
All day having
Hell
to be
yeah.
like killing people, guns, all this shit. It's like it's like you doing this for 14 hours a day. It's like somebody needs a fart joke. Good God. It's like exhausting.
I think there's something from the outside that's very glamorous about what we do, right? But at the end of it, we're a bunch of people basically working a blue-collar job. We're creatives, but we're in a warehouse around a bunch of heavy machinery and equipment, lights and cables and dudes with crack showing, and like, you grow to fill that box.
It's so true.
Please tell us you still do it, like in your regular time, Scott. Do you still make the fart sounds? Because I do. I certainly do.
Appreciate it, and a wife who gets angry every time it happens, and I do it to her more than anybody else. So I'm really still leaning into my fart sound. There's tones to a good fake fart sound, right? It depends on the person you're doing it and the mood they're in and the setting. Like, it can trend up.
Yeah.
It can trend down. It can just, thank you. It's a quick one. It can just be a little squirt. It can be a long, drawn out one. So there's a lot of nuance to what you're really doing.
You're
It's
so
good, Katie.
fucking good at it. It's like you are in a glee band where you're the person doing like beatboxing, but you're unbelievable at tonal farts. It's unbelievable. It is such a special skill set, and it brought me so much joy as you did on set every day. Can you tell us how you got this part? And how crazy it was, because I think the story is that your wife, who is in the Scandal Wives Club, how she watched the show. You didn't, correct?
I was in the Shondaland universe. I was shooting Grey's Anatomy. I think it was at season 6 or 7 of Grey's Anatomy, and I was having a bunch of fun doing that. And Shonda called me to her office, and she said, I wrote a script, and the network really seems to like it, and they want to make the pilot, and I want you to be in it. And I said, okay. And she said, you want to read it? I was like, yeah, sure. I should go read it. So I walked from her office back to my trailer on the Grey's Anatomy lot there at, what is it, Prospect?
Yeah, Prospect.
Yeah.
And I read it, and it was great. And she said, I wrote this part just for you. And I said, I'd love to do it. And it was pilot season coming up. So I called my agents and I said, hey, I got a pilot. Shonda wrote for me. And they said, great. And it was done. That's
Holy
exciting.
shit. You were like,
Damn.
booked it. Unavail, motherfuckers.
Without even
unavail.
auditioning. No audition.
Without even auditioning, it was every actor's dream. And about a month, maybe 3 weeks, a month later, Shonda calls me personally. I'm not on set, but she calls me at home and she says, I have some terrible news. And I was like, Christ. She said, I still want you to do this part, but I'm going to name drop him right here. Didn't think I was television material.
Wow.
So I said, what does that mean? She said, he wants you to read for it. I said, I'm an actor. Of course I'll read for this part. So
Good for you.
We set up a time and I came into Linda Lowy's little office and read it with the director and
Paul McGuigan.
yeah, that's right. And Linda. And I thought it went great. And Shonda said it went great. And Linda said it went great. And Paul was like, way to go. And then I guess didn't like it.
What?
So they said, we want you to read again. So I went back in and I read again. And Shonda called and she said, I'm so sorry. He wants to go a different way with the role. I don't know what to tell you.
What the hell, dude?
And I was,
Holy shitballs.
look, this is the business we're in. What can you do? There's a bunch of chefs in the kitchen. So life goes on. I went and I did another show called The Goodwin Games from the guys who met from How I Met Your Mother.
You were so good on that show.
I love that
It was
show. We
one
had so
season.
much fun.
It was so great on a comedy. You're so good.
And that
Okay,
was
keep going.
that was another bone that was thrown my way because I'd passed on How I Met Your Mother.
No, because of Scandal?
No, because of the fucking unit. Sorry.
Oh my
Shit.
God, Scott. I love
Passed
hearing
on How I Met Your Mother.
I
Wow.
love hearing stories like that because, oh my God, that show is a residual
Juggernaut.
absolute juggernaut
Yeah.
of a show. Like a
Yeah,
juggernaut.
but then you got on Scandal, so that's just as freaking
Eventually.
good. Yeah.
Is it as good residual-wise? Gee,
No.
how you holding up?
Not
No.
residual wise.
And I just had dinner with Kobe Smulders. Let me tell you something. How
Yeah.
I Met Your Mother is a juggernaut.
Yo.
But anyway,
So that show came to an end, and when it ended, there was an announcement in the news that it wasn't getting picked up, and Shonda called me, and I think it was now the second season. You guys had done, you did 7 episodes, 8 episodes? Yeah, you did 7 the first
7,
season.
yeah.
And she called me and she said, I'm trying to get you back on the show. I wrote a part just for you. Will you come and do it? And I was like, yeah, I got my show just got canceled. What else am I going to do? And Marika, I was like, babe, what is this? How does it look? Because I had a sort of bad taste in my mouth about it.
yeah, you're like, I'm not watching the show that I
Right.
didn't get cast on to like
That's right.
further the burn. No,
because
thank
I'm
you.
a bitter bastard.
I am too. I get it.
And we watched it, and forgive me for this. I was like, who are these people? And she's like,
Were you like,
were like,
these
they're
fucking
insane.
actors? Who the fuck
I
are
was
these
like,
actors?
what's happening? And Marika's like, you got to do it. It's so good. And so I called Shonda. We had a conversation, and we made a deal. I was going to be a recurring character on the second season and come in halfway through the second season. And if the show got picked up for a third, which wasn't in any way a guarantee at that point,
No.
then I would become a series regular going forward. And so we negotiated the deal. Everything was great. And that's my Scandal story.
My God, you have done the love triangle thing. Shout out Felicity.
Yeah.
I think you did it on Dawson's Creek. I think like you are real
That's what I
good
do.
at.
I'm the other guy. I'm great at being the other guy.
You do
And
it
so,
so
like,
well.
Did you know that you were going to be, you really do. Did you know that you were going to be in this love triangle to Tony and Carrie? Had that been presented to you? Or you were like, I don't even know the character?
She said I would be a love interest to the lead girl. And that was all I knew. And I didn't know anything. You guys had done 7 episodes, I think. And maybe a couple from the second season had aired by the time I showed up. I think I showed up in, I don't know, 212, 213, something like that. So you'd only done a total of 20 episodes before I came. And I didn't know. Shonda says, I got a plan. You're going to be this guy and you're a love interest, but there's more to it.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
She probably knew all of that, but none of us ever knew what was coming down the pike, right? For our characters until,
I don't think anybody knew either.
Yeah.
You could be in that writer's room and they'd be like, what's today? And they're like, I don't know. Let's start again. Throw it up on the wall. Let's see what happens.
And I think I heard that's what they liked. Like they liked the energy of the show being like, holy shit, like we don't like they were
That
up
chaos.
against they were up against a ticking time clock as well, which is why you feel that so much in the show.
Did you know Tony or Carrie beforehand, Scott?
Nope.
Had you met them?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Carrie had dated a guy who lived on my street
Oh,
in
no
Santa
way.
Monica.
Nice.
Tell it.
I'd seen her.
Yeah, I'd seen her like walking a dog, maybe.
Josie, probably.
And I was out like walking mine, and you sort of nod. You're like, babe, she's an actress, right? Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
okay.
God.
But you know,
Wow,
Little
that's
did, know,
so
did
crazy.
you know you were going to be macking on her on the show for 6 seasons?
Ever. Stand in the sun with me, Jake. Stand
Yes.
in the sun with me.
little did I would be in the Bahamas together 5
You
years from
that's
then
right.
Fucking asshole.
on a
That's
private plane.
right.
You fucking asshole.
I so wish you guys had that experience.
Dude.
We can get to that later.
Ew.
Sorry.
That's crazy.
For the gladiators listening, that is an episode at a different time, but we're going to have you back on because this is at the start of that episode. You and Carrie alone to an island by yourself. You were on private boats. You were on a private island. You were on a private plane. And the
Yeah.
rest of us are just sitting
Freaking
in LA
bummed
on
out
like
that our show was like
soundstage.
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sound stages. Wait, I also want to know, was Shonda like a big Felicity fan? Shonda's a huge TV nerd and TV fan. Like,
Yeah,
always
oh, yeah.
has been from the time she was like a long time ago. Was she like so into you and your work from Felicity? Is that like
I think
how
so.
she...
I think that was it. Yeah. And look, I don't know. I do know. I know she loved Felicity. And Scott Speedman's on Grey's Anatomy as we speak.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
damn. How long has he been on the show?
Longer than me, and I'm upset about it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
Talk about a juggernaut, right?
Oh my
Grey's is freaking,
God.
what the hell? This season, what, like 32? What is it?
You know, it's season 20 or 21 now, but
Oh my God.
I was so excited to get to be a part of Grey's Anatomy and so bummed when I found out I wasn't a doctor because I knew that I was going to die and my time was limited.
Damn.
If you can be a
Both
doctor on
ways.
Grey's Anatomy and stay there forever,
You're
I
set.
mean, your grandkids are in college. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, guys.
Okay, I need to talk to you about this episode. And it's okay if you totally didn't watch it because there is some of the...
I totally watched it, and I watched
you
Kate
did?
Burton say, "I'm not here to urinate." And by the way, my favorite line of the whole episode.
Yes.
She's unbelievable in this episode. Gladiators, we're talking about episode 305 called More Cattle, Less Bull. It aired on October 31st.
Halloween.
That's
Halloween.
so Guillermo. That's
Yes.
so Guillermo. His favorite day
Yes.
of the year,
Gee, I
2013.
just packed up the formaldehyde bat you gave me
No
for Halloween.
way.
Yeah, I pulled it out, and for whatever reason, I hadn't put it away yet, so I just put it away last week.
I love it. I think Katie threw that shit away. Didn't you throw it away, Katie?
What?
It's hidden in a box. Well, this episode was written by Jenna Bans. It was directed by Randy Zisk. And gee, who is it guest starring?
It was guest starring Stoney Westmoreland as Hal, Erin Chambers as Mara, and Jay Jackson as the TV anchor.
And real quick, to jog our memories of what the fuck happens, the OPA team investigates Democratic Congresswoman Josie Marcus while Olivia and Mellie have a surprising run-in during the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Meanwhile, Jake and Huck get closer to the truth about Operation Remington, which could lead to devastating results.
Guys, the first thing that needs to be spoken about this episode, which is the most important scene that we need to get to, is the basketball scene. I don't even give a shit about the rest of this episode. We have to talk about
Scott
you and Tony Goldwyn
playing basketball.
Which, Scott, you are an athlete. You're a great tennis player. You're a great basketball player. Can you please tell us why this happened, what it was like to
Is this worse than
Okay.
the dancing, Scott? Was this worse than the...
Oh, God. So Scott is laughing so hard. Okay. For those of you listening, Tony Goldwyn has got so much swag as Fitz. We are not saying like anything. It's just that Tony is really an artist and maybe not a great basketball player. Am I saying something wrong? Let me say it.
No.
I don't know what you're saying. I remember a story Tony once told me about Shonda asking him early on in the run of the show, "Yeah, I want to have you doing something physical. What's playing tennis?" He was like, "Nope." She was like, "How about basketball?" He was like, "Nope." She said, "What do you?" So he said, "I could chop wood."
Yeah,
so
she
there's
had
a
him
couple
doing
things
that.
of him chopping
We
wood.
had him on that episode where he has said this, that chopping wood is really one of the few physical things he can do, which, by the way, wasn't he in like the huge tennis movie as a coach like last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had actually a really great time doing this. And I will be the first to say, our poor crew, I couldn't shoot a shot to save my life. I could not make a basket. They were like, "Foley, we want to get a couple of you putting it in." I was like, "Yeah,
Not
please."
one.
I played in high school. I was like, fuck.
Is it because it was just like too much pressure?
The
Like there was too
pressure,
many
of
people
course.
around? Or
Well,
like
I think I had 2 kids. My wife was pregnant with a third. I hadn't been shooting baskets in
Yeah.
10 years. I don't know. That's just the way it goes.
the person, I don't know a goddamn thing about the sport. So it was effective for me, which is 2 hot men using basketball as if they're fighting
Sweaty.
over their girl. Like you're fighting
Yeah, that
over
was the
You're
intention.
fighting
Yeah.
over Olivia, but it's basketball. And it totally fucking worked. However, Adam would be the first person to say when I remember when it came out, my husband only watched his basketball 7,500 hours a week. But he was like, wow, Tony's really bad.
Really?
Oh, no.
He spotted it? See, I didn't even spot it. I couldn't even tell.
When we played, Tony was no worse than I was. I'm completely
Wow.
honest.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Then they
Yeah,
must
I
have
mean-
covered something that he did
Yeah.
that you didn't do, that I remember Adam being like, "Oh my God, Tony, wow, not a basketball player." And I was like,
Wow.
Yeah.
They edited that shit really well, though, because you
They
can't
did do
tell.
a really good job. I don't remember seeing that episode, and I watched it today before we did this. And aside from the fake sweat all over me, oh my God, please, the amount of water they sprayed on my back to make it look
that
like we were
wasn't
really
real?
sweating. No.
Oh, but I do remember a note that I took when I did watch the scene. And again, I couldn't tell anybody was good or bad. It just was fucking hot. You both looked great. and looked like you knew what you were doing because you're great actors, but I remember you taking off your jacket and your shirt was already soaking wet and you hadn't even started playing yet. And I was like,
No
guys,
way.
come on.
Whoops.
Oh, yeah. The back
They were
of
like,
your
"Sweat
shirt
'em
had
up."
a wet mark on it in when you were like, all right, let's do this. Like you hadn't
Yeah,
even
right.
played yet.
He hadn't even played.
It was so much fun. We shot at I think it was like a private house or something in Brentwood.
Far
Ooh,
away
nice.
from
It was
that.
good. Yeah, it was great. But anytime I got the opportunity to be sort of one-on-one with you guys, I have really great memories of those moments. I thought of one the other day with me and G. We were doing a car scene.
Yes, I was thinking about that too, Scott.
And we were sitting there and something was taking long and the AD came up a couple times. And the last time the AD came up and said, it'll just be a minute. He rolled the window up and G goes, the fuck out
Fuck
of
out of
here.
here. Yep. That is one of the most special moments for me with you because we hung out in that car for the whole day and we just kept saying that. And even later on, like shooting the show, we would just keep, we would say, fuck out of
better
here.
don't.
Like just for,
Fuck
you better
outta here,
don't.
fuck
Yeah,
outta
just
here.
for
Better
fun.
don't.
You guys have a lot in this episode together. I never realized that, like, you two as the B613 people
Yeah.
trying to get Maya Pope out of here, like, you two have this whole unspoken language of these aside eyes and, like, how do we work this system? We do
Yeah.
everything
Yep.
B613-y, which, by the way,
You're a B613 weenie.
you're a B613-y. I heard that by someone I will not name names, pretty high up, that around this time, they were thinking about a B613 spinoff.
Really? Damn, that just didn't freaking happen.
It's not from the highest of highest up, so
Right.
it could be a complete fucking bullshit
Right, right,
scenario.
right.
But I
Yeah.
was watching this episode and I was like, oh my God. And 313, Scott, when you become the head of command, I was like, holy shit, this is like a whole, and we're at Acne Paper and like all of
Yes.
that. Like it's
I
a
remember
Yes.
that. You worked there.
it's a whole other world. Like it's just really.
I remember the first time we were on that set, wherever the hell it was, and that you worked as the receptionist. It was in the
Yes.
middle of this sort of oval-shaped lobby
Yeah.
thing. And, man, I have such... Oh, that's crazy. I do remember
I do
that.
too. And Quinn was being such a little bitch. She was like, I don't want to work the
Yes.
desk. Give me a gun. I don't want to do this. And you were like, pay your dues. You're like nothing. It's still even in consideration if you're really B613.
Well,
That
talking
was
about
such
give
a
me a
great
gun. You
episode.
bought a gun in this thing. You traded in the router for a gun.
I know.
That's
what is
right.
wrong with her? I don't remember any of this.
I don't remember a lot of it either.
But I have to say, the worst
either.
acting of the whole episode is
Oh, I'm here
definitely
for it. Me?
is Quinn walking in her horrible shoes in the rubble of Montana or whatever. I was like, oh my God,
Please.
Katie, you are the worst. Like
Everybody telling you you're
can't walk
grounded. You're
in high
grounded.
heels and you're an idiot and it's just so stupid. Okay, anyone have favorite highlight acting moments of this episode? Oh, we know Scott's.
Oh, Kate Burton.
Is it Sally Langston? Yeah, what does she say?
She says, I'm not here to urinate when she goes to see Paul in the bathroom and he's pissed. I was so
That
proud.
was the best.
I was so proud of Randy Zisk. He directed this, right?
Yes.
I was so proud of Randy for actually having him standing at the urinal going to the bathroom. You just don't see that a whole lot.
But did you notice, Scott, did you guys notice it also? Paul motions to Sally, hey, you want this urinal? You want to pee next to me?
Yeah, the ladies' room is packed as normal. Come here, you can use this. And she was like, I'm not here to urinate.
Brilliant.
Paul was so fucking brilliant. Oh, wait, I wanted to ask you, in stemming from the basketball scene, how did it feel to be the other man for the whole time?
I don't know, the paycheck's cashed. The truth is, like,
Totally.
I was totally happy with my part. I never saw any real life complication. Tony's a great friend of mine. And
Yeah.
Right.
from the second I stepped on that set, Tony was a great friend. I shouldn't say that. From the second after the first table read, because for my first table read, everybody came up and said, hello, hi there. Not one word from Tony.
Really?
Not a hello, not a handshake, not a welcome, not
What?
anything.
He was like,
Probably
this
just in
motherfucker's
line to
taking
get food or
over.
something.
Well,
Yeah.
no, and Carrie was like, he's a little jealous. I was like, what? But after that, whatever it was, he was probably hungry or had to be on set or was
I'm going
directing
to say
soon.
he was
Yeah.
probably in line to like get his sandwich or something.
That's right. And his piece of salmon
Katie,
wasn't there.
we all know he never ate a sandwich. He only ate salads.
Salads
Please.
and
He
fruit.
was taking his shirt. Yeah, that salad with tuna, remember, and fruit. Yeah. He never
No, but
I've
you know
never
what?
seen him eat a sandwich.
I'll tell you something. I would watch Tony down a whole donut and then take his shirt off. That
And
he's
look
like
Really?
incredible. No.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? He's a
For the
unicorn.
record, you look amazing in this
Yeah,
show.
you do too.
Like, dude,
Thank you.
come on. You had to take off, I think in this episode, did you have to take off your shirt?
I did. I took my shirt off in this episode. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, look at young Scott Foley
Look at
there.
that.
isn't it crazy how you feel?
Self-conscious at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
I look back at the shit on this show when I'm in bra and underwear, and I was like, what was my problem?
I look
looked
good,
great.
right? Yeah.
Like, why was I so freaked out? And also, I would take that any day over what I'm working with now.
Yeah,
But
please.
Scott, you were always
You kidding
really
me?
good about not eating cookies. Like when you knew your shirt was going to come off, you were good about making sure you were eating the right thing or not eating.
His kryptonite was a cup of nuts. And
Really?
trail mix.
Yeah,
This
that was
dude
my thing.
can take down a cup of cashews with
Thank
M&Ms.
you.
But at least that's healthy. At least that's healthy.
But no, you were not eating dessert.
It's not that I was good. It's that I was terrified.
Terrified.
Completely paranoid.
That's the world was going to see you shirtless.
And I'm compared to Tony Goldwyn.
Right. But
He's
you
not
look just as
normal.
good, man.
That's
You
not
look just as
normal.
good.
This dude was born with a six-pack. A, that's not fair. And B,
From Ghost to Scandal. Dude takes his shirt off and you're like, I just can't win.
What
It's
the
amazing.
hell?
well, you looked amazing and you did incredible. And G and I were so lucky because you people had to really be the hot ones on the show. And G and I could really just get fucking weird.
I was a schlub. I never had to worry about shit.
Oh.
I could
well,
get drunk the night before and come to set and have
Same.
bags under my eyes and be like, let's go, let's
Same.
shoot it. And they'd be like,
Yeah,
you were
I'll
great.
say something though, G. I'll say something. And it, for whatever reason, your character was probably the most specific in the entire show. It was a true character. Yes, there was Olivia Pope in this, but to a certain degree, we're all playing versions
part
of
of
ourselves.
ourselves.
You
Yes.
know?
Yes.
I'm hoping Huck is not a version of you. It was a beautiful performance, and I listened
Scott, that
because I
means
was
so
about to
much.
come on and do this podcast. I listened to one the other day, and it was the seven. What was the
752?
752.
It was 752 episode, and guys, that was one of the first table reads I was there for. That was in that warehouse.
What?
And I remember being a part of that. I had a line or two, maybe, or I was there for a fitting. I don't know. And I sat at the table read. And it blew my mind. And what you guys did with that episode, and it's still, I haven't watched it in forever because I don't watch, because does anyone watch TV anymore? But
We only watch the show because we have to for the podcast, and we're loving it so much. But
We
But what
are.
TV is that? But there's no TV. I don't watch TV anymore. I started to
Yeah.
sell horses, and thank God.
752 is an
Oh, man,
incredible
that means so
episode
much,
of
Scott.
television, like in the canon of television. Like
And
so
directed and acted
beautiful.
and filmed. Gorgeous episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so we've got
I got off track.
your
Sorry.
favorite.
Love
no, you're
it. I
fucking
love
perfect.
it.
Off track is what we love. G, any favorite acting moments for you in this app?
one of my favorite acting moments, oh God, imagine. It's the moment at the end of the episode, and I'm sitting on the floor. I remember shooting this scene, and me and Huck and Jake are trying to figure out the riddle, what happened with Remington.
With the flight.
Yes, we're trying to figure all that stuff out. And I finally say to Jake, Huck says to Jake, her last name was Pope.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Scott, and Scott says, no. That was one of my favorite moments in this episode, aside from Melly's hair acting, like that hair that just came
my
out of
God.
nowhere, those curls.
There were a couple scenes where her hair
The wig.
was like her hair
huge.
was the equivalent of Alicia Keys' dress last night
at the Super Bowl.
At the Super Bowl.
yeah.
It was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. And then it went back to normal. Beautiful Bellamy. But there was a moment. Yeah.
Yes,
there was
yes.
a moment like she
Also, we have to say real quick, this is like the first time before we move on to 6 degrees of some horror, because Scott Foley, you've got some in that bag. But Lisa Kudrow, really, this is where she has a lot of material.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so used to seeing her as Phoebe that I had to keep being
yeah.
like, holy shit, that's Phoebe. She's on the podium and she's being attacked by Governor Reston. She's running and she has to do this thing where, like, I was 15. I got pregnant. I gave
She
up
did great.
a baby for
I thought
she
she
did
did really good.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, I had no. First of all, I don't remember any of that even happening when we were shooting. Like, I never worked with her, I don't think. So I don't really remember it.
I
but
didn't either.
it's nice to see her doing something like that.
Yeah.
I
It's
feel
completely
like.
different from what we were used to seeing of her. Yeah.
Okay, Guillermo's 6 degrees of horror.
Do I even have to even say it? Scott Foley was in Scream 3, and he played Roman, the director Roman, which I'm assuming it's an homage to Roman Polanski, perhaps, maybe the
I think
name.
it probably was. Yeah.
And not only were you in a Scream movie, but you were in a Scream movie directed by Wes Craven. Dude,
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
about it.
I think that was the last one he directed, possibly, wasn't it?
I think it was, he might have done 4, but I think
It was
I
one
think
of the
it was
last
the
ones.
last. Yeah. And I actually worked with him again
You did?
on a movie called Cursed.
Oh, shit. Wait,
There
with
were-
Christina
there were-
Ricci?
Yes, there
Yes.
were 2. We shot that movie. They shot that movie twice. I only shot it once, but I still get residuals from it, even though I'm not in it at all. I had a big part, a bunch of stuff with Christina Ricci, and who was the guy at the, anyway, they
Joshua
recast. It
Jackson
wasn't-
plays the guy.
Well, he was recast,
Oh,
but it
damn.
was someone else first. Was it Skeet? It wasn't Skeet. It was, I forget who it was
What?
first.
All of you guys.
And because I had done Scream, Bob Weinstein called me and was like, hey, we want you to do this other movie called Cursed. Wes is going to direct it. He says you're great. And I was like, great. And I got on the set and I worked a couple weeks with, and there was a scene with Scott Baio and me and Judy Greer and
Judy
a bunch
Greer
of weird
was in-
people.
Yes.
my
A bunch of weird people. We were on the
Yeah.
Santa Monica Pier. Anyway, going back to Scream. Yes, my first feature film. Can I tell you, G? I got a ton of shit for doing that movie.
Why?
What do you mean a ton of shit? Flack?
Yeah.
With your
so-
team?
Like, it wasn't
who?
good enough, or like it was.
It was considered schlocky. Like I remember being
Yeah.
back on season 2 or 3 of Felicity. We were just starting out and we had a press conference on set for some reason. And all of us actors were lined up and Scott Speedman had just done an Albee play in Canada or something. And someone was like, it's really great you did that instead of doing a Scream film.
Ah.
And I remember JJ turned to me, he goes, oh.
Oh my God.
But that movie has held up so much, and the amount of people who come up to me still. I just did a Broadway show, and the amount of people who would wait at the door wanting me to sign Scream posters, Scream memorabilia, talk to me about Scream.
It's huge.
It's Scream.
I'm
and
so
you,
proud of it now.
Oh, you should be. And you also worked with my old pal, Parker Posey, who is
my
freaking
gosh.
brilliant in that movie. She's such a standout in
She's
that
brilliant
film.
in life, G. She would grab
Yeah.
me. We shot at this beautiful old house off Madalena Street off Sunset in
Silver
LA.
Lake. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in Silver Lake. And it's this great old house. They've used it for a bunch of filming, and we shot a bunch there. That was the mansion where it all happened. And
Right.
she would, in between scenes, she would take my hand and walk me down on the lawn and sit me down and read me poetry. And I was like, what is
No
happening?
way.
This is bizarre, but she was the sweetest, nicest woman.
I love her so much. She used to invite me over to her apartment when we did Party Girl back in the day in the early
Yeah.
90s to have a bad movie night. And she would play all these bad movies for me, and we would just watch them and order Chinese food. And she's such a
This
such a
sounds like the
unique.
most fun fucking
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Remember what
but-
it was like being young? It was so
Yeah.
great, wasn't it?
Oh my God, it was so great.
Yo, but also answer me. There was really quickly. Do you have a ghost face mask from the film?
You want to see it?
How much do you want for it? And can I see it? No, let me see it. Can we
you wanna
see
see
it? Can we
Yeah,
see
hold
it?
on.
Can you believe that?
Guillermo, this episode also aired on October 31st. I feel like this is
Yes.
all very fucking weird. I
How
feel like this is
amazing
a
is that?
lot
Yes.
of lines crossing.
Oh, hold on. There's this. Gee.
Oh my God, Scott Foley's getting his fucking Scream mask.
Jenny McCarthy was also in this movie. Horror fans are hardcore.
Hardcore, bro.
Yeah.
I wish I was in one of those. I think it'd be so
Right?
fucking fun.
Me too.
I don't like watching them because I'm terrified, but I'd like to run around and scream and shit.
Sometimes it
All
felt
right,
like
hold
we
on
were
a second.
doing mini horror films on Scandal, right? Some of the stuff we
Oh,
did.
For
That
sure.
teeth pulling scene felt like a horror
Yes.
film. Oh my God!
Oh
Scott Foley is holding up the
my
freaking ghost face mask
God,
from Scream
Scott.
3.
It's
Yes.
terrifying.
It's gonna pop my earbuds out. Hold on.
It's really scary. Oh my God!
Yes!
Guillermo's taking a
Oh
photo.
man! Oh my
What are
God!
these things? What are these things? I don't understand.
They're
What
like
are these
little
things?
ear
I
flaps.
cannot believe you have one of those. Does everybody who works on the movie get one?
They wouldn't let me take it, and I stole it.
You did? Fuck
Good
yeah!
for you. And that's why Scott Foley's a badass. He doesn't.
Hell yeah!
He's just a little bit of a rebel.
Oh man, Scott!
He's a
What a
They were
Little bit of a
very
rebel.
protective of. They were very protective of it because they only had. Obviously, they weren't like made. They weren't big commercially.
right now they're
yet,
all
really.
over the place. Yeah.
Now they're all over the place. But they're special because they're a thicker plastic and they have lined the eye holes extra heavy. So when the lights from the production, couldn't see the eyes through them. So they're double lined, so you can't really see through them very well.
Oh man, what a gem. You have a
What
gem right there.
Gem to save forever. Did you have anything from Scandal?
Oh, I'm sure. Yes, of course I do. I have a ton of stuff from Scandal.
Did Shonda give you some sort of gift that was very Jake Ballard?
I'm looking here. I have this from Scandal.
Oh,
You see that?
yay.
Oh my God.
It's a picture of everyone.
Oh.
There's more Scandal shit over there. I have a ton of it's just memorabilia and stuff. But
yeah.
but from Scandal, I bought my entire wardrobe. You know that,
You
Katie.
did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Get
Because everything
the
was
fuck outta
made
here.
to fit you. You had
Yeah.
suits and all this shit that you could use for press that had all been tailored exactly to your fucking body.
And they allowed you to take it? I mean, to buy it?
I don't even remember. They said when we wrapped, they said ABC would like to gift you with one iconic Scandal piece of your wardrobe. And I was like, one iconic?
You said, bitch,
What the hell?
one.
Yeah.
You walk into we got 7 seasons there, 100 plus episodes.
Yeah.
Oh.
You walk in there and there's a mile of clothes with Katie Quinn, with
I had
Guillermo.
150 leather jackets. I'm not even kidding. 150 leather coats,
Yeah.
at least.
So I have my agent call ABC and I said, Scott wants to buy it. It's all tailored for him. It has his name on it, or his character's name. And they're beautiful Gucci suits, Zegna suits, Barbados
Slick
jackets,
stuff.
100 pairs of shoes. And I thought, like, well, if I buy that, I'll never have to buy clothes again. And they initially said $100,000.
What?
I was like, get out of here. And then we talked him down to 25. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And then they said, $5,000, you can have everything.
Right. Worth it.
So I took 2 trips in my pickup truck from Hidden Hills to Sunset Gower.
And
2
load it up.
trips.
That's probably the
And
smartest thing you
loaded
freaking did, dude.
up. Well,
You have clothes for years.
I have clothes. I have shoe boxes with the Polaroids on the outside showing me what's in the box.
Oh my God.
Do you wear your
But
stuff?
all my pants, but all my pants have little holes in the back pocket for my mic.
Yo, who cares?
We will be back with more after the break. Talking about fashion moment of this episode, you got to go to a White House correspondent dinner as Olivia's date, right? And
Ish.
Ish. Oh, yeah. She's looking at him the whole time because
Right.
she vetted his jokes.
Yeah.
She vetted his jokes. You're like such a little bitch baby on her arm. It's terrible. I feel so bad for you.
It fits because I was wearing such a little bitch babe. Did you see how short that jacket was they had me in?
Was it? I didn't notice that.
Was
With
it
the
your
sleeves?
army or no, your military whites
was,
or
yes.
whatever?
Oh, the jacket.
It wasn't whites,
Yeah.
it was military, the darks, the dresses, yeah.
The dresses.
Yo, but Carrie's dress.
Oh my gosh.
That
when she's walking down the
architectural-
hall,
She can
It's
make her body
amazing.
sway. By the way, I wrote too in this episode. Olivia Pope has a walk in this episode and every episode with so much fucking swag and hip swaying. It's incredible.
But this walk has extra swag because of that dress.
Well, somehow that dress stays straight, but her
Oh, yeah.
shoulders all move in it.
Yes,
Like, it's
yeah.
amazing how that happens. Like,
looked
she
like
takes
she
a
was-
step and the things
Yeah.
move. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
you had it too, though. I wrote hot Scott walking in a cargo coat and taken.
Yeah.
Like you had a walk too. You were in a cargo coat and a tight t-shirt
cargo coat.
with like pectoral muscles, and then B613 comes and takes you.
But that dress looked like she was wearing an origami piece, right? It
It
looked
did.
like
It
body
did.
origami. But the
it
designer
totally
of that
did.
dress is a dude named Ruben Singer. Good old Ruben Singer.
Good
but
old
that dress is
Ruben Singer. Okay, wait.
amazing.
Before we're going to talk about one other thing, and then I know you have to go. Was there any eating in this episode? Jake Ballard offers to take Olivia for burgers. Lots of wine was drank at the dinner, but not a single person on screen takes a bite of anything. Fuck that. We love
That's
acting with eating.
BS.
It's our favorite thing ever.
I'll tell you something. You guys have to know that anytime there's a scene that calls for eating, do not eat. I learned that very early on in my career, doing a scene. I was either in Dawson's Creek or Felicity where I was eating cereal, and they asked me what kind of cereal I wanted. I was like, Captain Crunch. Come on, what do you mean? What kind of cereal do I
I
want?
love Captain Crunch.
And the first 2 bowls were great. You do 9, 10 takes, different angles. I threw up, 4 or 5 times. I can't eat Captain Crunch anymore.
Oh, God.
you can't eat Captain Crunch anymore?
No, so
Yeah.
you don't
Oh man.
eat. Look like it, pick it up,
Listen.
Pick the fork up, put it down, talk, look around, think about it, move it around on your plate, cut it.
I get it.
Get out of here.
I hear you, Scott. I hear you. But listen, man, watching a show, I love Gilmore Girls, and those two women, listen, they're lovely actresses.
They're great.
But their whole relationship revolves around loving food.
Agreed.
And those two don't take one bite of anything, and it's so frustrating. Their cups of coffee are like they're handling them like there's nothing in them. Like
You can't do it, G. You can't do it. Because you're not just shooting, and
I
you
get
guys
it. Then
know
you
this.
have to keep doing. Yeah,
You're shooting it straight on, and then this angle, and then that angle, and you got to do it at the exact same time every time to match. Because if you don't, the scripty comes in and yells at you.
Yeah,
No,
I remember Greg Henry had to eat jalapeno poppers in a scene on Scandal
Hush
in
puppies.
OPA, and he was regretting it. Same thing you were saying, Scott. And he said he thought he was he was so nauseous and bummed that he had to eat all that stuff. So I get it.
And if you do, there are times where you do have, like, it calls for, like, they sensuously eat whatever it is. There's a spit bucket right next to you. Don't swallow that. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
By the way, it goes also not only with eating, but with smoking, because Adam did a Fincher movie where they were smoking cigars. And I said, listen to me, cut it,
sick.
roll it, smell it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Don't you dare take a
smoke it.
puff. And with
Yeah.
him, he does 150 takes. Everybody was puking. It was really bad. Okay, wait, before we let you go, we've got some tweets of the time for this episode. I hope this is one of those times where people were writing mean tweets about.
I hope. The meaner the better.
I feel like sometimes Quinn too. Sometimes the tweets were death threats to Quinn.
Oh yeah, we don't want that.
If she was ever against Olivia, it was death threats. So I am sure when Olivia was going with Jake and not with Fitz, I'm sure Scott Foley's Twitter timeline was filled with some hate.
Guillermo at Guillermo MKE. Come on now. He tweets a picture of himself dressed as homeless Huck. And it says, not Hagrid tribute to Guillermo Diaz. Hashtag homeless Huck from Scandal. Hashtag happy Halloween at Kerry Washington's protector. Oh, that's a dope picture.
It's a dope picture. Oh, this was also really cool. This episode aired on Halloween, so there are so many people who dress up as our characters for Halloween. Like, we have full tweets of different offices that were copying like their whole group. Like, somebody was Olivia Pope, someone was Huck, somebody was Quinn, somebody was Abby. So fucking cute. I love all of you gladiators for doing that.
This other one, listen, at Mary Howard, our own Mary Howard at Mary Eats. That's her handle.
Yes,
she tweets,
that's right.
just another day at hashtag Scandal Production Meeting, episode 310 with director Tom Verica and first AD Jeremiah. And Jeremiah is dressed as homeless Huck as well. He was amazing. I remember that day.
We used to have on Halloween when we would shoot every year, we would have a costume contest.
Yes,
where
that's
people
right.
would dress up and you would get a contest. And I think the winner got like either cash or something really fun. So obviously Jeremiah dressed up as homeless Huck, covered in blood with like a huge Hagrid wig on.
Yes.
At OSO Brand New tweeted, Olit's phone conversations just got to better and better. Like, I live for those moments. LOL, hashtag scandal.
Oh, shit. At Tara Thomas tweeted, the show Scandal is doing nothing but giving side chicks confidence and boldness. Hashtag sad. There's a mean one. There's a mean one. She's like, why y'all shining the light on all these side chicks? That's sad. No, I get it, girl. I get it. But listen, sometimes that side piece. Sometimes you need that side piece.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we do. Sometimes I haven't had a side piece in so long, but it sounds fun. At Damone Williams, at Bellamy Young, and at Kerry Washington are acting titans. The presidential suite scene was delicious. Great work, ladies. Hashtag scandal. That scene, we didn't mention it with Scott, but it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Olivia is leaving the White House Correspondents' Dinner and she's walking to the presidential suite.
Yes.
She thinks she's going to see Fitz. She thinks they're going to have a late night hookup. And guess who's waiting for her there?
Melly. Melly.
And she's come back to the White House. We need you.
Yep. I
It's
don't care
so
if you
good.
having sex with my husband. We need you back. Yeah.
Yes. Is there anything that all the gladiators can tune into to see all the fancy shit you're currently doing?
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
One of your shows is coming out now.
Yeah.
Tell us where we can watch our beloved Jake Ballard play something else.
I do. I have a show called the Girls on the Bus. It's going to be on HBO Max March 14th. I have been able to see all 10 episodes They sent them to me to screen. I'm not one of the girls on the bus, so I was like,
Right.
let's see how it is. I don't know. A friend of mine is the showrunner, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it. It looks like fun. I get to play a presidential hopeful, so I was like, maybe I can get to be more like Tony Goldwyn.
Right.
But it's so good, you guys. This show is so
I cannot
good.
wait to watch it. I feel like it's right up my
March
alley. I
14th
cannot wait
March
to watch
it
14th
drops.
on Max.
On
yeah.
Max.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not HBO Max anymore. It's just Max.
Max.
Why?
Yeah,
Just
and it's
Max.
girls on the
Max.
bus. It's
Just
Max.
It's girls on the bus.
Huge. I love you. I'm going to text you. Thank you so
Thanks
much for
so
doing
much,
this,
Scott. Thank you so much. This was awesome. In honor of Scott Foley, I'm about to go poop right after we wrap this episode because I really got to go.
Oh,
Thanks, G.
That's so nice.
So in homage to him,
Next up, episode 306, titled Icarus. Peace out,
Thank you,
gladiators.
guys.
Everybody.
thank you guys for joining us on Unpacking the Toolbox. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, share with your friends, rate, or leave us a review.
Scandal is executive produced by Sandy Bailey, Alex Alche, Lauren Homan, Tyler Klang, and Gabrielle Collins. Our producer and editor is Vince DeJohnny, with music by Chad Fisher.
Scandal is a production of ABC Signature, and you can follow along by rewatching Scandal on Hulu.
Unpacking the Toolbox is a production of Shondaland Audio in partnership with iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from Shondaland Audio, visit the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you subscribe to your favorite shows.